So with Mr. B, we're going to do a little bit with our target training again. Yeah, nice job. So I know we started working this a little bit last week as well. So what I would recommend is when working this, don't set up your mat if it's difficult for your pup in a corner or off in between two different items. For some puppies spatially, it can be easier when first starting with mat training to have it out in the open so you can almost walk your puppy onto the item. So because if, for example, they're trying to make their way between different obstacles, for some puppies spatially, that can make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable or stuck. So we're going to go ahead and with Mr. B, get him to go to his little bed and then target for being on that spot. Nice job. So what I want to try working on a little bit is getting some subtle behaviors for him. So if right now he's just simply targeting, we want to build up a foundation in the simplest sort of setup to start. So for him going and targeting the mat, being fed while on it, creates value again for that scenario and this item. Nice job. So as he's getting more comfortable, we might rock a lovely down. If again he doesn't do it, don't worry. So remember how I mentioned the generalization from me versus you guys, this environment versus home. So that can be again a little bit stressful. So I do find that even if you start off with target training and you're working sits versus downs, no big deal. So if Mr. B does get up and wiggle, no worries. I just want to start creating value in this target. So we might get that little sit again. Yes. So if you find that applying a stay can be helpful too, so again, excuse me, I should not be drinking seltzer. So let's say, for example, your puppy is sitting, we might tell him to stay, and then we might rock several little reps of him holding the sit stay just to build up duration. Obviously, as your babes are getting more comfortable, you would throw in, again, I mentioned those 3 Ds on Tuesday. So that would be your duration, your distances, and your distraction levels. Nice. So Mr. B's doing a great job. So as he's working it, you could also start to do this and implement it on the tether system that we had mentioned prior. So he could be in his little spot and working on maybe some of those chews and getting more cozy with them. And then you could just meander around him and work a few skills. So I might, again, he's still rocking this little stay. So I'm just going to add a little bit of wiggles. If let's say this was too hard for Mr. B, I would not add distance on top of the movement. So if let's say in the beginning, me wiggling is hard enough, I don't want to go those 10, 15 feet away. I might just go ahead and move around him, but stay about the same distance and then go back and feed for that response. If your puppy thinks it's hard to, for example, have you go behind them in the beginning, stick to the front of the pup and maybe do a semicircle, like a half a circle. If they break, reapply your stay and then just start again. So again, I'm just going to let the lead just kind of hang out. We just work a couple little seconds and then yes to feed. So again, we're building up this stay with a little bit of distractions and some distance, but I want to make sure that the time frame is also not too big when we're first starting. So again, the rate of reinforcement is going to be also really crucial for this. So as we're building up some nice rapport, I want to make sure it's not so hard that it's unattainable for Mr. B. So as he's rocking these lovely little stationary positions, his ears are wiggling because there's some trucks going by and some funny noises. So every once in a while, he is a little distracted by the environment, but he's doing a real nice job. If my puppy were to break, again, no big deal. Try to re-hone them in, get them to reset up on the target, and even if it's partially or mostly on, still good. So again, eventually he'll become more refined as he works these skills. But try to think about adding those 3 Ds separately and take turns by rotating through them so that you're starting to help generalize the skill for your dog, and that way they become more refined in the behavior in many different ways. This is beautiful. So again, he's just kind of going back to his little stay, and we might rock a little bit of some movement. If again, too hard, remember, lower the criteria depending on your dog's comfort range for the day. Nice. Gorgeous job. So I'm going to feed him one last snack again for holding that stay. Nice. Beautiful. All done. And then we might get up and wiggle, but remember, there's no food for leaving the position. Remember that going to a target or working the stay behavior is where you're feeding your puppy for being stationary the whole time. So if your puppy is getting food for getting up, they might start to get a little confused thinking that the getting up might be just as good or as beneficial as the staying put. And for most dogs, staying put is the hardest part. So it was really nice. So Mr. B, we might rock a little sit, and then we'll give him a little break from these practice moments and do a few more skills in just a bit. That was so nice, Mr. B. Good job. Smart man.